Elizabeth Troutman Mitchell joins us. I know you got time constraints, but there were two stories you broke over the weekend. I want to make sure people read today and talk about. The first is about artificial intelligence. And there was a lot of confusion. I've had people reaching out to me all weekend about what exactly happened with the White House political team in the state of Tennessee, and some of these other folks are just saying, "Hey, look, you the guidance you're given is totally with the oligarchs and this artificial intelligence. We can't do that with our people. Politically, it's not feasible. It's also not the right thing to do." So, what exactly happened? Did political people at the White House or David Sachs, who I thought had been given his walking papers, did they actually try to get in the middle of Tennessee and some of these other states that are coming forward with legislation to protect children, ma'am?
Yes, so we already knew this is something that was happening. I have written in the past about Utah and Florida, where the Trump administration has gotten involved in these states in AI legislation, usually legislation that has safeguards for children, and has called people in power or sent emails or memos that would lead to the bill being killed. And it has been revealed now that this is happening in two more states, Tennessee and Missouri. In Missouri, I spoke to State Senator Joe Nicola, who introduced a bill to put a variety of transparency and safety limitations on AI, saying that AI doesn't have personhood, limiting potential deep fake videos made by AI, and saying that the AI operator is the one who would have the responsibility for such illegal images. And he got a call. He had a call with someone in the White House Intergovernment Affairs office and was told that he needed to soften the bill in a variety of different ways. They felt that it was too strongly worded, and so he is now working on his 11th version of the bill, but he was very frustrated by this involvement, said it inspires him even more to limit AI and protect his constituents. And then secondly, in Tennessee, if you can believe it, a Tennessee state senator
Well,
actually
hang on a second.
admitted on the House
Hang on,
floor or
Liz,
the
Liz,
Senate
Liz,
floor
Liz,
that
Liz, hang on, hang on 1 second. I just want to, the first, he's not going to soften it though. They reach out to him and they want him to soften it. Is he going to dig in and say, I can't do this? Or is he going to try to soften it for the White House?
Well, there is a threat here of losing broadband funding, which would be very bad for people in rural Missouri. This is something that his fellow members are very concerned about. And so
So
he is making some changes to
hang
soften
on,
it. That's
slow down,
something that he has agreed to do.
hang on. People in the White House have threatened Missouri legislators that they will hold back broadband funding unless they do the bidding of the oligarchs and soften this bill. I just want to make sure we understand the stakes here, because this is not a small thing. I'm also not sure the president's getting perfect information from these oligarchs and the David Saxes of the world, and was it Kratiotis, all these guys. They're all giving him the oligarch's position. He does the White House is not reading the room right now. The country's in a revolt against this, whether it's data centers or whether it's children's, make sure that they're protected, as whether it's families protected, and they're getting bad information. I just want to make sure in your reporting, you're saying they threaten this guy with withholding, which is a central part of the MAGA program, or the populist program, is broadband for rural areas. You're saying they're threatened withholding that unless he softens this to kowtow to the oligarchs?
Well, if you read that December 11th executive order, which first established that state laws that were quote unquote onerous to AI would be preempted, in that law, it says that states that have these onerous laws could lose broadband funding. And so this is something that Joe Nicola had a conversation with his colleagues about, and they said, we don't want to risk losing this broadband funding. It's extremely important to our constituents, and they don't want to risk it.
Wow, horrendous. I don't think the operant term there is onerous. I don't think this is not onerous. They're trying to stand up for families and kids, are they not? And parents?
Yes, this bill doesn't, I mean, it doesn't seem like it puts too strong of limits on AI to a variety of people in the AI safety movement, talking about how AI doesn't have a soul, it can never be a human. And really, the big focus of this is these deep fake images, which I think is a huge concern for lots of parents around the country that now you can make an image that looks like anything is happening. And so putting a limit on this and saying that it would be the duty of care is on the AI company that allows this to happen is something that I think a lot of people can support. But there are, of course, concerns that we're hearing now about this.
And particularly given this, the meeting that Besant and that Scott and Powell had with the banks about new Mythos cyber weapon, right? It could basically take down a bank in seconds. It scared people to the marrow of their souls about the concerns here. It realizes this AI is completely out of control right now, totally out of control. People should just know that. Liz, I know you got to bounce. I got to get to the other story. Is that, by the way, there are other legislatures too. I just want there are other people they're reaching out to, whether it's Tennessee or other places, and trying to put pressure on them. We'll get to that, but I want to get one. We've had Rosemary Jenks on here with this out of control H-1B visas and taking jobs from American kids, American tech workers. 12 million STEM workers are out of the labor force, and at the same time, AI is eating up jobs. We've got these guys going for these visas more and more and more. One of the worst part of it, as Rosemary Jenks talks about, is OPT. This situation where you have all these foreign students, they can get in underneath the regulations on H-1Bs. This is one of the reasons the corporations game the system. Is it Senator Scott? To finally, we have somebody in the Senate stepping up to this. You have an exclusive about this, about he's stepping up to say this is another program's destroying American kids and American workers, and we got to stop it.
Yeah, so this optional practical training program gives a tax incentive to employers to hire foreign students. And so he's saying not only does this harm American college graduates who are facing very high unemployment rates, it also gives a leg up to communist China because UCSIS has said that there is a threat of Chinese Communist Party coming in, sending foreign students. Those foreign students then use the OPT program to get tech jobs, physics jobs, programs where they're going to learn a lot about American innovation, and they're going to be able to take that information back to China, which could use that to beat the United States. So not only does this harm American college graduates, it also harms national security. And so Senator Scott is urging the White House, urging DHS to do something about this.
This is part of, I'll get into it after the break. This is part of the ecosystem. They say, oh, it's a Sputnik moment. The Chinese Communist Party, you have a tool right there that Scott's saying we've created the entire ecosystem for the CCP, not just to finance them, debt and equity financing, also to provide them with chips and to provide them with training back here in the companies and the labs, and most specifically taking billets from kids in these colleges, then training them up, and they go back, and this is why they're competitive in AI. Liz, I know you got to bounce. Where do people go? What's your social media to get all your reporting? Scoop after scoop, ma'am.
You can read my work at dailysignal.com and follow me on X at the Liz Mitchell.
Nobody's on top of this AI fiasco more than Liz Mitchell. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.